What's up, everybody? Drew, aka Catching Rockets here. I hope you all had a good day today. Pretty wild with FOMC. Let me hide this really quick. Hopefully you guys caught this. This was our entry for calls. For FOMC, this happened right when they opened. They sent it from our area that we were looking for calls. I got in on a pullback. This is bull flag. I did it live. Unfortunately, did not work. I believe I got in like right here, got stopped out, and then they ran it. At that point, that was my second lost trade for the day. So I called it, thinking that I would be done. And then I saw them come back to here, and I bought, and I sold, I don't even know, somewhere up in here, which fixed the two losses for the day and then some. I can show you guys the actual account. So here's my account. This was today. So you can see 3 trades. 33% win rate, which means 2 losses, 1 win, and I still made 1% on the portfolio. So practicing what I preach, which is at least a minimum of 1 risk to reward on every trade. And yeah, that's how you stay profitable. We said to look for puts here. Hopefully nobody did that. Obviously they just smashed through. We did also, on the live, I said here was a good spot to get in puts or short. I didn't take it myself. I also said it was a good short when we were here. But, yeah, it's pretty wild. I feel like I haven't traded FOMC for a while, and I forgot exactly how wild it can get. Pretty surprised with the back and forth that we got initially, even with the Fed cutting rates by 25%, or sorry, 25 points. I'm going to delete everything here. I closed my SPY puts for January. Unfortunately. But it seemed like the right thing to do. All right. Also, I'm going live early because my son has a random band practice today. I should show you guys. He's doing, his band is doing a paid gig. I doubt anybody would be interested in going, but just in case, I won't be there myself. But if anybody is interested, they're doing... Or I'll just post this in the chat, I guess. So, System of a Clown, Hollow Heart, and Zero Signal. My son's, or the band my son is in, is Zero Signal. These are the tickets. I won't be there, but should be a fun time. Obviously, System of a Clown is it's a System of a Down tribute band. Yeah, maybe we'll get more than 5 people this time, Bert. 7 so far today. Jeff asked how to set up options, 1 risk to reward. I mean, the thing is you have to play levels, right? So basically, I deleted everything. I don't remember, but I was saying like to look for calls. Where was it? It was right where 11 o'clock was. So, like, yeah, look for calls here. Right. And the target, I think, was previous week value area high. And so, basically, you have to use the long position tool or short position tool and figure out where your stop loss would be to give you 1 risk, 2 reward. So, like, this right here is 2 to 1. But you're not always going for 2 to 1. 2 to 1 is the minimum, right? If you can get 4 to 1, 3 to 1, whatever, obviously that's better. I think my last trade of the day was I risked 100 to make 4, or I risked 100 to make 3. So it was a 3 to 1 trade. So 2 to 1 is just the minimum. That's the bare minimum. It's a little bit harder, though, with options, whereas with futures, it's much easier. So here at our previous day value area low, we're going to have poor low. So I'm just going to combine it here. And we have another little spike at the top, right? Also, apologize if you guys can hear that. They're trimming the trees in my neighborhood right now. This spike is tiny. But it is a spike. All right, so let's zoom out. We have double distribution today, right? So capital B profile. Let's zoom out and take a look and see. We might finally get that 695. They have sold off a little bit from the close. If you know, what's it called? Why can't I English? Wyckoff. Hopefully there's like an image. Yeah. Wyckoff is fairly complicated, right? But, I'm trying to figure out how to do this. So I think like this is our support, right here. This might be our spring here. And then they might run it higher. Right? Could be wrong. This would be our resistance right here. Dink. And then, you know, here it's acting as resistance. Dude, that shit is... Of course, as soon as I go loud, the fucking tree trimmers are like right outside my door. Alright, let me close my window. I can't even hear myself. Okay, this is going to be fun. Um, yeah. So anyway, I mean, I could be wrong about this. This could even be the resistance here. This could be the spring, and we could be, smashing higher. But I do think our next target is 695. We'll have to see. Today's volume, good. Obviously, bullish day. We have wicks on both sides, so a selling tail and a buying tail. So it's like a slightly indecisive bullish day. What's up, Triple G? You are nuts. You are crazy. I need to wait about 18 minutes for futures to open. I have a feeling we're going to gap up, but I'd like to see what happens. Sorry, I need to fix this. Okay. Where's futures? It's down right now. I mean, Bitcoin. I'm slightly up from the close. Very slightly. Okay. Check out Fear and Greed. Neutral? Nope. Still in fear. Calendar. I don't know that we have a ton going on tomorrow. Excuse me. Whoa. Buy a book that talks about the 88% rule? I don't know if there's a book for that. That's something I think that Shorty backtested and figured out on his own. So tomorrow, an hour before the open, we have unemployment claims, which is going to give us some volatility. And then at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, GDP month over month in England. That's pretty much it. And then Friday, there's nothing. 88% rule is initial balance. I think it's like, if you break over the high of the day and spend 15 minutes or more above, then there's an 88% chance that the low of the day is set. If you break below the low of the day, spend 15 minutes below, 88% chance that the high of the day is set. Can't English. I want to check one last thing. I did something pretty fun today. Or I don't know if it's fun, but I have, what's it called? I have, bro, what the hell? I don't even understand what the fuck this is doing. Like, I zoomed in on that specific area. Bro. It was doing this earlier. It's like acting so weird. Thank you. So anyway, I have what's it called? College accounts for my kids. But what I didn't have, what the fuck is going on? Thank you. But anyway, so I have college accounts for my kids, but I didn't have like a long-term savings account for them. And by long-term, I mean for like when their retirement age. And so today, I shared it with the group. Like, I have an automatic deposit, just $50 a month, that goes into accounts for each of them, which will be for their retirement. And the first deposit just hit today. It took a while to go in, but yeah. So that was kind of exciting. This is SPY. We're inside this closed cloud still. I'm not trusting it at this point. I closed my SPY puts for January 2nd. Originally, I wanted to close them when ES broke and hold above 68.70, which we had done back here. But at that point, I was like, oh, I might as well just wait for FOMC and see what happens. I actually sold somewhere down here when they announced the... or actually, no, I sold somewhere around here, I think. Once they announced the 25% increase and we started to fly and then pulled back, I sold on that pullback. So just for transparency's sake, I am no longer in SPY puts. I mentioned it when I was trading live as well. Still, from a technical analysis standpoint, it looks like we should sell off from here. We've basically made like a slightly higher double top in a closed cloud, but I was fairly red on that trade, so it was time to just cut it and cut my losses and lick my wounds. So that's where I'm at. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome, Pepino. Yeah. Entries can be rough. That's why I love to use, well, I mean, really, ultimately, volume profile is it. Like, if you wait for pullbacks and enter on pullbacks, you should be good. I can't really show ES because I already got rid of my previous levels. But, like, here's a perfect example. I guess this was previous day value area low. And you could have played that twice today, easily. Let me turn off all of this noise. So we always say, look for the retest. So this was our break above here. I mean, technically, if you were trading this morning, right, this was a break above retest and it wouldn't have worked. This is a break above retest calls. Break above retest calls. This one didn't give you 3 5-minute candles, but I entered on this. It's pretty obvious they were going to bounce it there. And if you combine it with cluster charts, I can show you guys what happened on this candle, 1140. What I'm about to show won't matter if you haven't studied order flow, but I can show you what I saw. It's at 53, yeah, 52, 53. Sorry, I'm waiting for my charts to load. Oh, and also I went early today. I went live early today. I think I said, but my son's band has a practice today at 7 p.m. Eastern. And that's weird. They have a tendency to run late. Like, I think the last time they practiced, it was like 3 hours. So, this is so weird. Sorry, it's taking forever to load. I might need to go to my live stream.
When my team pitched the idea, I thought it was impossible. A pan that sears like stainless.
Yeah, I can't see it here. Okay, it did not. It failed to load. That's weird. All right, I'm trying to sign back. Oh, here we go. That was funky. So 1140. So it's hard to see here because this is a 30-minute candle. But we had a pretty significant amount of orders. Where was it? Here? 43. Yeah, so right here. And then previous day value area low is right below it. So this is like 68.46, 68.45-ish. And our previous day value area low was at 43, right? Or sorry, 52. I'm getting confused now. Let me go back. 52. Yeah, so that's what I was looking at. This here was like our significant orders, like 57 down to 54, and our previous day value area low was at 52. When they came back into this area is where I bought, but on the retest. And then if we look at, where is it? It's kind of hard to show. But so, yeah. This is 1140 here. 52 is right here, right? When they came down to here, we got like absorption, which is where you have like large orders on both sides. And then as they came down to that 52, to that previous day value area low, it looks like aggressive buyers stepped in, that 463. Same thing happened over here on the first test, but I didn't take that one. 449. So that was 25 minutes before Powell spoke. And they launched from there. They came back, retested. 463 came in, and they started going. And then as soon as they printed this right here, the 126, 154, you can see how it's highlighted in orange. When you look at these numbers, you go diagonally. So 160 or 126 is 900% bigger than 13. 154 is 900% bigger than 9. So super aggressive buying here. And they created a buy-side imbalance. If we happen to come back to this, you want to enter long 68, 67. So anyway, as soon as I saw these print, I mean, I was already in the trade, but this gave me the confidence that like they're going to rock it. And I closed at 86, I think. Yeah. So that's where I closed my trade. Because of the completed auction right here, and it would be like a double top. I figured they were going to break through and go higher. I think if you were live with me today, I was saying, you know, like this is not a bad spot to close. We had a poor high right above, and I was like, they're probably going to break through, clean it up. And there was single prints here. I don't remember exactly the levels, but I was like, they're probably going to reject from the middle of the single prints, which they did. And then they're eventually going to break through the single. I think the single prints were here, actually. I don't remember. I'm sorry. But I was like, they're probably going to eventually break through and go much higher, which is exactly what they did. But so I wanted to close, you know, when we got to that same area. Even though I knew there's a good chance they're going to break through and go higher, I like to, you know, especially like after 2 losing trades, I like to be less risky, I guess, on my profit-taking levels. I knew I could target higher, but I was happy with, you know, aiming for kind of the equal high, slightly below the equal high of this candle. We gapped down. I mean, very slightly, just a couple of points. But green candle so far, pushing it back up. We need to get back above this spike to go higher. Potentially they're going to sell off. I don't know. We'll see. So hopefully that makes sense. The reasoning for taking the trade, absorption, aggressive buyers, basically right at our previous day value area low, 68.52 right here. And you can see like here there's aggressive buyers, here there's aggressive buyers. They sent it up. This could be aggressive or passive selling. I'm not sure, but oh, I didn't even notice this. That's insane. But yeah, this looks like selling, possibly buyers. It's hard to say, but at the bottom here, when you see, you know, absorption with this print, looks pretty good. There is absorption happening in here. So These are most likely people selling this here as well. I didn't see this either. I mean, I wasn't at my computer anymore. But yeah. And then we've got some pretty major aggression going on right here. Potentially buyers. Yeah, it's not terrible. All right, let me close this. The main takeaway from the footprint charts is going to be that imbalance at 68.66, if by chance we revisit that, which would kind of shock me right now, but it is possible. We should be able to see it on this chart here. Yeah, right here. So 68.66 down to 68.65 buy side imbalance at the beginning of a trend. Okay. I'm still kind of surprised with the little gap down, but it is what it is. I would expect them to open above spike tomorrow, but we'll see. Hey, what's up, Nora? Triple G, you're going to cook a filet mignon. Any tips? I have a lot. But it depends what you have at your disposal, right? So, if you have a sous vide machine, which I would not be surprised if you don't, if you happen to have a sous vide machine, so something like this, that's the actual one I have, I think. Well, first things first, season your steaks. I mean, if you're cooking it tonight, that would suck, but what I do is I salt my steaks 24 hours in advance. And you can taste the difference. Like, instead of having, I don't know how to, it's like weird and hard to put into words, but instead of like having salt that you can taste on the exterior of your food, the salt absorbs into the meat, and like you can taste it all the way through the meat when you're eating it. So I like to salt my steaks 24 hours before I cook them. And then if you do have a sous vide machine, you know, you can put in whatever seasonings you like. I think like the standard would be like a little piece of butter and what's it called? Like some oregano, thyme, or even rosemary. Cook it in there. After it's done, what I do is I cook it to 129, so 129 degrees, which would be considered rare. You could even go a little bit lower, like 125 or something like that. And then what I do from there goes against pretty much everything that everybody says, but it works. This tip I learned from a Michelin star chef. So like I was taught, you know, like you put your steak into a pan, like a hot cast iron skillet. But sorry, I forgot one important thing. When you take it out of a sous vide, the bag, you're going to want to dry it off with paper towels, because you're not going to get a sear, or you're not going to get a crust on a steak that has like a wet exterior. And also you're going to splash oil everywhere. But so dry off the exterior of the steak, get a cast iron skillet nice and hot, with like some neutral oil. I generally just use olive oil. But you want a really hot pan. You're going to drop the steak in there. Most people say to not move the steak once you put it in the pan, just put it in and leave it. And I've learned it's actually better to get like a pair of tongs and basically slide the steak around the pan. And what that does is, I don't know, for anybody that's like seared a steak or tried to get a crust on a steak, a lot of times you'll get like a circle in the middle that's not seared or it doesn't have a crust. And then the exterior will have a crust, right? If you move it around the pan, like I just said, that will cause you to get a nice even crust. You might have a tiny little spot, but not as bad as if you weren't moving the steak around. Then from that point, you're going to flip it over. At that point, you're generally going to throw some butter into the pan. And then you'll turn down the heat as well. Not a lot, but turn it down a little bit. Throw in your like garlic, oregano, whatever, rosemary, whatever herbs you're using. Keep moving the steak around in the pan. And then right towards the end, you'll start basting it with a spoon. Like basically just splashing that butter on the top. And then once it's done, you pull it off. You should just be doing like 2 to 3 minutes on each side. And what that will do is it'll give you that nice crust on the outside, but it also takes the steak from rare to medium rare in that time. And then you want to rest the steak for at least like 10 minutes, preferably like 20 minutes. And also pour some of that butter on top. Let it rest and then cut it, and it should look like this. But yeah, jerky's simple. But yeah, that's how I would do it. If you don't have a sous vide machine, then I highly recommend at least having like temperature spikes. Where's the ones I have? I have this one. They have them where you have 2 thermometers or 2 probes. They have the one where you have 4 probes. You set the temperature on this to whatever temperature you're trying to achieve on your protein. Shove the spike inside the protein. And then when it reaches that temperature, an alarm will go off and let you know that your meat's ready. But so what you would do is grab one of these, spike your filet mignon, and from there you would heat it till the internal temperature is like 134 if you like medium rare, which is the only way that you should cook filet mignon. But I would highly recommend these. If you don't have them, then what you're going to do is cook it in a really hot pan. It's a little bit harder because a lot of times the what's it called? The filet mignon's thicker, so it needs to be a little bit less hot, but it needs to be hot enough to get a crust on the outside. But you need it to be less hot so that the middle cooks. I would also recommend taking it out of your fridge, at least like a couple of hours before you cook it, so it can start to warm up to room temperature. That way the middle's not cold as you're cooking the meat, because then you'll end up like, with a raw center, basically. A lot of people say like, oh, you can't take meat out because it'll be at an unsafe temperature and bacteria. Yeah, and you're about to throw it into a fucking searing hot pan, which will kill any bacteria. So you're good. But yeah, if you don't have these, what I was going to say, basically you're going to put it in your pan, cook it. And what you do is like, if you kind of make a fist and you feel here, like the meat on your thumb, that's the consistency. Like you want to make a fist, so this is a little bit firmer. You want to touch the meat and have it feel similar to that, and that would be medium rare. So that's the best way to test it if you don't have like actual temperature probes. So, but if you don't have those things, fucking buy it. Like if you like meat, Buy a sous vide machine. It's like the easiest thing in the world. It's like a bougie crock pot that's not difficult to use. And buy some temperature spikes because like you just can't go wrong. I think I have like even a picture. Let me see. Sorry, and I'll get back to the stocks in just a second. Or actually, let me do it this way. What am I doing? Where is it? So a sous vide machine makes cooking proteins really easy. I mean, the same vegetables as well. You can even make like creme brulee in a sous vide, and it'll turn out perfect every time. But with that said, me and my son do not always use the sous vide machine. Because that you need to plan a little bit more. Like it takes about an hour to cook like an inch thick steak. And yeah, if we're just going to cook it, you know, like and eat in like 30 minutes or whatever, then I wouldn't go that route. So like I think that worked. This is so like my son, it might be a little bit hard to see. This makes me happy. I love this picture of me and my wife. This was New Year's, I think, of 2020. And the smile on her face is so genuine. She's so happy. But so you can see here, there's a temperature spike in the meat. And you can see that nice crust on the steak. And then there's, so literally what I showed you guys, there's my Temperature Spike Pro. So that screen will tell you when it comes up to temperature. And then you can see we've got some rosemary in the pan. There's garlic in there, but you can't see it. You want your butter to be foamy like this. And then this will alarm when you reach your internal temperature. And then after, this is when we pulled it off and we're resting it. And so like I said, there you can see the garlic, the rosemary. You pour your butter back over the top. You can see it's nicely seasoned, like it's got pepper and whatever else on it. And then finally, this would be the finished product. There's the steak. You can see nice crust, medium rare. We made chimichurri sauce, some herb crusted potatoes, and then the carrots. That's bothering me because, like, as a chef, these little splotches. But my son did this. I would get killed by my head chef for having a dirty, messy plate. But anyway, this is you take like a whole what's it called? A whole orange and juice it, and then in a pan you put in olive oil, butter, and the juice of an orange, and then you cook your carrots in that. And then obviously, you know, salt them. And then once it's cooked, you just pour the juice over the top. But the goal is to reduce the orange juice, so it's down to like kind of a sticky consistency, I guess. But the olive oil and the butter gives it, like, I guess, a little bit of hydration or whatever. So it's not like super, super sticky. I don't know, but it's yummy. It's always a hit. This sauce with carrots is always a hit. Chimichurri with steak is always a hit. And this is easy to do. Like, this might look bougie, but he's the one cooking my 10-year-old, right? Like, it's not hard. Anybody can learn how to do this. And then chimichurri sauce, if you taste it, like, you would think that it was made by a god. And it's just so simple. Like, chimichurri, depending on the recipe, some people use parsley, some people use, what's it called? Why can't I think? I want to say coriander, but it's not coriander. The herb that literally looks exactly like cilantro. I was going to say the herb that looks exactly like parsley. So yeah, some people use parsley, some people use cilantro, and then it's generally like salt, pepper. You generally will put like a little bit of acid in it, so like vinegar, and then some recipes call for paprika. Some recipes call for smoked paprika. Here, let me just look it up because I don't know why I can't think of the ingredients right now. I normally can do it like right off the top of my head. But it's like literally the easiest thing to make because all you're doing is putting, like ingredients into a blender basically. And it's nothing crazy. So like this one, parsley, oregano, garlic, red pepper flakes, smoked paprika, white wine vinegar, extra olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, sea salt. And all you're doing is you don't even have to chop the parsley, but you just put it into a blender or a food processor, everything into the blender or food processor. And you literally, I guess they're using a mortar and pestle. But you just throw it all into a food processor or a blender and just blend it until it's the consistency that you like. So like some chefs, like this one's pretty fine. Where, I mean, there's some coarseness to it. Like there's some bigger leaves, but there's also some really small leaves. Some chefs will just do it with a knife because they like more texture. And then some chefs will do where it's like really finely pureed, or really finely blended, like this. Well, that's still pretty coarse. This is really finely blended, right? So it's just up to your preference. Like I kind of like it this consistency where you have like larger pieces of the parsley or cilantro leaves, but some people like it like this, and it's just personal preference. Try both. There's even red chimichurri sauce, which is really good as well. But it's so simple to make, but the flavors are literally like through the roof. Your world changed when I recommended smoked paprika. That's funny. The funniest thing about paprika is it's literally just red pepper. Like people don't realize that it's literally red pepper. And then obviously smoked paprika is just red smoked pepper. Wow, we're going down. Okay. Tomorrow. I would be interested in calls here more specifically the November value area high. There's a chance they bounce it though at the previous week value area high. But if we look, like back here, this is kind of where it acted as resistance and then became, when we were below, this was resistance. And when we were above, it became support. So November value area high would really be like my ideal entry, but you don't want to miss the trade if they bounce it here, right? The plan is to be live also tomorrow. Ideally, but I don't think they're going to do it now, but you never know what happens overnight. I would just love for them at this point to open above, go off of our spike and then go higher, right? I think this is the least likely scenario right now, kind of based on what's happening, but anything is possible. It's also possible they bounce off of the previous day value area high. You could, depending on you as a trader, you would want to jump in at the far side. But so we have a volume shelf here, right? I'm not going to leave this on the chart, so this is just for people watching live. I would be looking to get in here and then get a bounce. And actually, let me go backwards really quick. I would like to see this, ideally. Okay, so bounce here, clean up the poor high, retest our spike, and then go. The thing with this is if you do grab calls at previous day value area high, you can cut them very quickly. Meaning if we dip, below, let's just say 687, we're going to start moving quickly down to 85, right? Or down to this area where we want to get in calls. So you could cut these pretty quickly if it goes against you. Because if they lose this shelf right here, then they're going to move pretty quickly down into this area here, and then ultimately to here where we're looking to get into the trade. Okay. But this would be like a higher risk entry with a tight stop. Okay. I feel like those are our most likely scenarios. It wouldn't be terrible. Below retest and then grab puts. Okay. And you guys saying I should make a cooking channel, what you should do is encourage... Let me see if I can find him. I could be wrong. I haven't seen him in a hot minute. Is this him? Yeah, this is our boy. I feel like he's probably given up on trading. I haven't seen him in a while. He used to join our lives like every day, and he would talk. He's got some great videos. These are his shorts, obviously. He was making videos, and then I think he started making shorts. But like, you should go and subscribe to him and encourage him to make videos. I've watched some of his videos, which is saying a lot, because like, as a chef, I don't really watch other people cook. There's his channel. Seriously, go over there, reply to one of his videos, tell him that Rocket sent you. Tell him to get back to making videos, because like, we need it. He's got, the videos that he has are great. Like, he's teaching, I guess that's one of the things is like, I'm trying to think of the word. I'm sorry. People teach cooking, but they don't teach. I mean, like, you can find it, but the issue is if you don't know what to find, it's going to be hard to find the videos, right? There's like, I'm going to be wrong, but there's like 6 or 7 sauces, period. 6 or 7 sauces. And from those 6 or 7 sauces, I want to say it's 6, but from those 6 to 7 sauces, you branch out and you add to those sauces to make different sauces, but they're all made from the original sauces. Gosh. like base sauces. Okay, 5. Sorry, I was wrong. Even saying 6 or 7. Bechamel, Voulette. I can't say this one. Espagnol. Tomato and hollandaise, right? And then once you know how to make those 5 mother sauces, from there you can what's it called? Like, you can improve on those sauces and make more intricate, more difficult sauces. But if you didn't know that there was 5 mother sauces, like, you wouldn't even know like what to search for. And like, people don't really teach this stuff. Like, if you go to YouTube, I mean, I'm sure maybe if you Google specifically like Voulette, then you'll probably like find some stuff. But yeah, like, it's not something. So here, like, you can see they took the Voulette and made it into a mustard sauce. And this is like a super good sauce where you go from what's it called? It's creamy, and then they generally will add, like, that looks like fresh tarragon, and tarragon and chicken just goes so well together, especially in this creamy sauce. Like, and once you know how to make those basic sauces, like, it's just, I mean, like, here, I'm sure he's using tarragon. I wonder if there's like a...
And big brands are trying their hardest to make it illegal.
Welcome back, everyone, and thanks for joining me again on that series on sauces.
Just straight up recipes, so I can skip all this.
Today we're going to finish this series talking about one last thing, which is the white sauces. White sauces is something we don't talk about that much, but they play an important role in French cooking as well. And best of all, yes, you can make plenty of them at home as well. In this video, I'm going to demonstrate and talk about the white sauces, what are the core components, what you can do at home, and we're going to be doing one of the most important white sauce there is, which is the velouté. Let's not wait any time. Or stocks, like we're going to see here.
So then the your butter and your flour, you're making a roux, and then depending on like how, I mean, sometimes you're going to make a dark roux, right? Like, if you're making what is it, like jambalaya, you want like a darker sauce, so you make a darker roux, which just basically means you cook the butter and the flour longer. If you're making a white sauce, you're going to make a light roux where you're not going to cook the flour as long. Melt your butter, cook your flour.
We're going to make that compact. The roux. And here it is.
Yeah, there's your roux. Very light. This is a very light roux.
It's almost like a batter or a dough. And all what you need for 3 minutes
and then from here you're going to add in your what it's called. You're going to add in your chicken stock or whatever it is you're using at this point.
You can go to white or blue. I'm going to take this really thick and retains the heat too much. We have to
He did add.
The time is off. I'm going to take this off the heat immediately and put it in plonge. This mushroom of pepper.
Oh, now he's cooking something else.
Bring it to the boil. First off, to sanitize it, sterilize it. Okay.
That's his chicken stock.
That is really using half a liter of stock, a bit less than 2 cups.
Right into your roux.
I can see a lot of time when people make a velouté is that they turn the heat on, and pour half to get the whole thing started. Whisk is now not needed. You can filter it. These two are boiling to thicken properly.
And then you reduce. Yeah. Sorry, I'm rushing through this. Oh, he added the mushrooms? Oh, cream, mushrooms. And then tell me he's throwing tarragon in there. Yep.
Okay, we're gonna taste. And this is when you're gonna know, okay, So I'm going to put that in. It's just to
Salt,
add
pepper.
you don't want to have the fires of
Is that
hell.
cayenne?
Cayenne pepper, same thing, a little nutmeg and cayenne pepper, and we're going to be...
Nutmeg and cayenne.
For the cayenne pepper, same, but the traditional method...
That's he's grating fresh nutmeg.
I'm going to make it a whole lot. And rinse and clean my toast. If you know me, seconds.
And then the tarragon brightens everything up. Oh, he's using parsley. Tarragon goes really, really good. Fresh tarragon with chicken is amazing in a velouté sauce. But the green just, you know, gives it a little bit of color. And you can even use, what are those plates called? Like, this is even better for salmon, but like... aspen rim plate. Like these, what's it called? Like where it'll actually hold the sauce. And so you can put, you know, your sauce in the bottom of the plate and then put the chicken on top or whatever. Yummy, yummy. Plates like this, yeah. But, yeah, it's really easy. Making the sauces is not difficult, but, like, people don't even know, you know, to make the sauces, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. But, yeah, Google or look up on YouTube the 5 mother sauces and go from there. Oh, I guess I didn't do... Let me do this. I hate moving these circles. Like, I don't understand why it can't be so much easier. And then I have to run. I just realized my son's band practice in like 30 minutes. So, really, actually, sorry. Let me do this. Okay. If you guys have questions, now's the time. I got to run. Let me post screenshots really quick. And speaking of Chef, it always bums me out when like people fall off. I mean, he could still be trading for all I know. And just doesn't feel a need to watch my videos, and that's fine. I hope that's the case. But when people kind of disappear, most of the time it's because they quit and gave up, and that's always a bummer. And I hope that's not the case. The hell, Triple G. You didn't let it warm up to room temperature, huh? All right. As always, much love, much respect. Oh, Corey, you missed it yesterday. Unless you watched the video after the fact, but I made beef jerky. But what I did is I took, after I was done dehumidifying it, I reduced soy sauce, brown sugar, and honey in a pan and made a glaze, and then I brushed it on all the beef jerky, and I threw it in the oven at 260 for like 10 minutes to get it nice and caramelized on top. That's what's up. All right, everybody. As always, much love, much respect. Peace out. We will see you next time. I'll see you guys in the morning. We'll trade live. All right, take care.